Hey, Dan here, and in this video I'm answering a question from a 19-year-old INFP about how do you choose the right college or university major. And in this video I'm not going to speak to specific majors, like if you are this personality you should major in this. Instead I'm going to give you 3 approaches for picking your own major. So really, whether you're an INFP, an ENFP, or anyone else, you can use these 3 approaches to choose the right major for you. The first approach is really simple. I just think about what you would love to study and give yourself and your judgment a little more credit. When I chose to study psychology at university, I had no clue I would be doing what I do now. I didn't know coaching was even a thing until my 4th year of university. None of this future was on my plate. I did not know where it would take me, but I knew I was really interested in psychology and I just wanted to study it. And I found this is often true with myself and with other people, with people I've worked with, is your unconscious often knows or is drawn to something before you can consciously explain why you want to do it. So if there's something that you've always wanted to major in, when you think, what do I want to major in, you just think psychology or philosophy, or I'd love to study history, then maybe give that more credit than you are right now and assume that there's a reason you have that intuition and that draw towards that major. The second approach, if you're really not sure what you want to be doing in your life, and by the way, that is totally normal, and most interesting people don't know what they want to do and often don't know what they want to do 10, 20, 30 years later after college as well. So there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're really unsure, you could think about the type of education that would complement you and perhaps lend to better thinking and better ways of thinking. There's a lot of debate whether university is worth it, that people will say things like you can learn everything online now, there's no point going to university, and that it can be true in cases, and that towards the end of the video, I'm going to share something specifically for American viewers here. But I've also heard it said that the point of university is not to teach you certain things, but to train you how to learn and how to think. And so I've met people who say studied engineering, and they've never become engineers, but by studying engineering or physics or math, they learned to structure their thoughts very logically. They learned to think in a process. And that has really served them well in building a company or in investing or in working for themselves in some other capacity. The same can be said about majors like psychology, philosophy, or history. What you learn in those as facts are pretty useless now, right? We all have an encyclopedia in our hands at all times. Knowing facts is useless, but perhaps by studying philosophy, it will train you to think differently, and that skill could be extremely valuable in any form of business or any other career you end up pursuing down the road. Now, before I go on to the third consideration, one thing I would say for anyone watching in America, and this applies a bit to Canada and some other countries as well, where there's some significant tuition costs, is if you're really unsure, and the original question sent in from the INFP was that they really aren't sure. There's nothing coming to mind that they'd want to study. If you're really not sure and you live in a country where there's going to be a lot of debt to go to school, I might consider holding off on that. Maybe go travel, maybe work for a few years and then come back and decide. If you're over in Europe or somewhere else with relatively cheap or free education, then I'd say follow this advice, jump into something and then take it from there. But I would not recommend racking up $100,000 in debt when you're really not sure of what you want to do next. And the third consideration for choosing your college major is to think about what skill or knowledge area could serve you in a wide range of fields. I majored in psychology and that worked out really well for me. I did not know I would become the person I am now, where I talk about psychology a lot, but I figured, hey, if I go into marketing, knowing psychology is pretty good. If I want to be in human, what do they call it when they treat people like cattle? Human resources, that's it. If I wanted to be in human resources, knowing about people and about psychology and group dynamics would be really valuable. Just about any field I would end up going into, I thought, hey, I'm really interested in psychology, this is fun for me to study, and I'm pretty sure there'll be some value to this. So look at areas you could study in where maybe that you're going to learn a skill or an area of knowledge that's probably valuable no matter what you do. I filmed other videos on this in the past in terms of valuable skills to be learning in 2019, but if you're not sure, things like communication is extremely valuable, whether it's interpersonal communication, marketing, PR, anything like that. Anything involving people, motivation, some kind of psychology. These are all very valuable skills and areas of knowledge to develop. And so if you're really not sure what to do, but you're interested in them and that sounds like something you like to learn, I might suggest starting with something like that as your foundation. So those are the 3 considerations for choosing a university or college major. If you are new to the channel, my name is Dan. This is Dreams Around the World, and I publish new videos every week helping you become the best version of yourself and create the most awesome life possible for you and those you love. So hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, and I will catch you in the next video soon. Bye for now.